What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And every 3 months or so, we open some new Magic the Gathering product. And today, since new Magic the Gathering product is out, we will be opening Oath of the GateWatch. It's the new set. These videos, as always, are sponsored, and this one is no exception. We are being sponsored by another YouTube channel here by the name of Magic the Gathering Headquarters, MTG Headquarters. You'll find a link in the description box below, and if you're watching me live on Twitch, you'll see a link being posted by my mods. I hope you guys have checked it out. It's because of MTG Headquarters that these unboxings are available. Also, there will be further unboxings later on in the week. That'll be over on my gameplay channel, and I'll post a link to my gameplay channel down below. As we open these other 5 boxes behind me, you'll be able to find those on the secondary channel, and I hope that you choose to watch those if you enjoy these unboxings. There's some pretty expensive stuff you can get in this set. There's the Expeditions this time around, including Strip Mine and Wasteland. Wasteland Expedition is currently going for $300, so every time we crack a pack here, you could open a $300 card, and I sure hope that we do, because I got wrecked on Expeditions last time, but hopefully we'll not get so wrecked this time. Here we go. Here's my keyboard. Everybody always asks what this keyboard is. It's just a cheap washable Logitech one. This is a Razer something. I don't remember. It's my little Magic the Gathering playmat that I opened. Now, I know it's a little blurry right now, but that's okay because it won't be blurry when I show you the card, the rares in the pack. You see? So it won't be blurry when I hold it up and show it to you. And in fact, I'm going to move XSplit over here so that I can read it a little bit better. And then I'll move chat over here. There we go. That's much better. Here we go. Pack number 1. Big money. Big prizes. Now, normally, for those of you who are new to Magic the Gathering, you're going to get 10 commons per pack. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, that's 10, actually. You're going to get 10 commons per pack, and since I'm opening so many, the commons are not particularly interesting to me. You'll also get 3 uncommons per pack, and since I'm opening so many packs, those also are fairly uninteresting to me as well. So we are just going to go straight for the rares and any foils that are in each pack, and then of course so it's the back of the packs that are interesting to a player who's buying so much and collecting so much, and that's what we're going to focus on here. First card is Eldrazi Obligator. For a red and 2 colorless, it's devoid, which means it's colorless. When you cast this, you may pay 1 mana of any color and 1 colorless mana. If you do, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature and it gains haste until end of turn. This one and it itself has haste. So a 3/1 Eldrazi with haste in red is pretty good. The fact that it can also, if you have a colorless source, steal things, that's pretty good. I think, I know some of the mono-red players that are generally in my chat are going to like that card. We did get a foil out of this pack as well. It is a foil Canopy Gorger. Got to eat up them canopies. I'll leave the foils there. The full art lands are back for this set as well. Thank goodness for that. Next up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 commons. 1, 2, 3. Our next rare is Sifter of Skulls. Black and 3 colorless for a 4/3 devoid. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion into the battlefield. I feel like this is a very cubable card. I don't know Standard very well anymore, and I don't think this has a place in Modern, but I think it's a very cubable card. If black is all about sacrificing in your cube, this one definitely goes in there. So I like that card. The land as well, and token as well. I noticed you get a lot more tokens out of this set than previous sets. Well, I mean, also Battle for Zendikar. I really like that. The advertisement cards always annoy me. Like, here, throw this away. I'm not looking at that stuff. That's an uncommon. Here is, well, one of the better cards of the set for certain. Mirror Pool. A Mirror Pool enters the battlefield tap. It will add a colorless mana to your mana pool. For 2 and a colorless, you can sacrifice this, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. And for 4 and a colorless, You may sacrifice Mirror Pool, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target creature you control. Very cubable. Very, very cubable. Very solid in EDH. If colorless is a thing, in Standard it'll also be played heavily there as well, I think. So, one of the better cards, I think. Eight, 9, 10. Man, I love opening cards, but I hate sorting them. Here is Dread Defiler for a 6 and a black for a 6/8. Devoid. 3 and a colorless. Exile a target or creature. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Target opponent loses life equal to the exiled card's power. Don't really see that having much of a home anywhere. Seems okay. Seems like limited fodder. But good limited fodder at that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A lot of people who watch my videos say that my evaluations for cards can be fairly off from time to time. Well, don't I know it. Fall of the Titans, a red and double X with a surge cost of red and X. If you're unfamiliar with Surge, Surge says as long as you played at least, you may cast a spell for its surge cost if you or a teammate has cast another spell this turn. Interesting, and Two-Headed Giant especially. Fall of the Titans deals X damage to each of up to 2 target creatures and or players. Weird card. Weird card. Here's a foil. I'm fairly certain Reflecting Your Mage is going into my cube. 1 white, 1 blue, and 1 colors for a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature an opponent controls to his owner's hand. That creature's owner can't cast spells with the same name of that creature until your next turn. I really like that card. I think that's going into my cube. I tried not to push multicolored cards too much in my cube. I also have a card cube that is entirely multicolor, so I guess I'll probably need 2 foils of him. But I try not to push it too much, but I like to have some cards. And blue and white has some goodies. Here's one of the best cards seen print in the last year. Thought Not Seer. Costs 3 and a colorless for a 4/4. When Thought Not Seer enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-land card from it and exile that card. When Thought Not Seer leaves the battlefield, target opponent draws a card. So it's basically a colorless Vendilion Click. This is easily cubable. This is easily usable in EDH. It's certainly going to dominate Standard. This might even be Modern playable. Just a very, very well-designed, interesting, and good card. A colorless Vendilion Click. It's just incredible. It's so funny, when Vendilion Click got printed, nobody in my local meta had really any understanding of how powerful that card was going to be. There's a waste, but we'll just go ahead and put it with the commons for now. Here's our Oath of Jace. The Oath cycle, very interesting cycle. They're all legendary enchantments. This one costs a blue and 2. When Oath of Jace enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry X, where X is the number of planeswalkers you control. The reason this cycle is so interesting for those who are just seeing an Oath for the first time is because the effect it has, consider that a sorcery, blue and 2, to draw 3 cards and then discard 2. You would play with that. I mean, that's a playable card itself. The fact that it also triggers as an Oath and cares about planeswalkers, that's just bonus effect. The downside to them is, of course, they are legendary, so if you don't have a way to get rid of them or something to that effect, you don't really want to play with 4 copies, I think. But with Jace's, you could always just discard multiple ones. Here is one of the better cards of the set as well, Linvala the Preserver. This is our second Mythic, I think. Linvala the Preserver for 4 and 2 white for a 5/5 flyer. When Linvala enters the battlefield, if an opponent has more life than you, gain 5 life. When Linvala enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Does something that not a lot of cards in the history of Magic do, and that's allow you to play catch-up. And I like cards that allow you to do that. There's Slaughter Drone. Foil Slaughter Drone. Weird card. Weird card. But I like cards that allow you to play catch-up in Magic. You know? anything that allows you to come back from losing position is a powerful, interesting card. Of course, if you're already winning, it's not that great. World Breaker here, another mythic. Green and 6 for a 5/7 to void. When you cast it, exile target artifact, enchantment, or land. It has reach for 2 and a colorless. Sacrifice a land. Return World Breaker from your graveyard to your hand. Definitely cubable. I mean, that's a beautiful cubable card. It's also interesting to note that it's when you cast World Breaker, not when it comes into play. Doesn't fit Reanimator, so whatever, if you're trying to reanimate, it's not going to do anything, really. But, I mean, other than be a big fat 6/7. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I do love the fatties. Here we have a Reality Smasher. This is one of my favorite cards of the set. I'm sure it's a cheapie, but I do really like it. 4 and a colorless, who has trample and haste. When Reality Smasher becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, counter that spell unless its controller discards a card. I've always been a big fan of cards like Giant Solifuge and Ball Lightning, so this is kind of a Ball Lightning, you know? Except, rather than just dying at the end of the turn, when it becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, they have to discard a card, punishes you for killing it. It's all upside. Now it's overcosted at 5 mana. It's very difficult for aggro to achieve that, but hits hard, stays on the board. It's a cool card. Every time I see a waste in the commons, I get excited because they're so hard to find. And they're going to be so necessary. Sylvan Advocate. A green and 1 for a 2/3 Vigilance. As long as you control 6 or more lands, Sylvan Advocate and land creatures you control get +2/+2. Meant to play with Awakening. But a 2 casting cost 2/3 allied elf. I mean, even Druid. I mean, those are all very relevant creature types. Not bad. Vigilance adds to the flavor there. I can see that card getting played in Standard, especially with any standard Allies decks. I don't know if there is a Standard Allies deck. Last time I looked at Standard, it was all Siege Rhinos. Siege Rhinos for as far as the eye could see. Wow, the Mythics out of this box are unreal. Why are we getting so many Mythics? Kozilek, the Great Distortion. 8 and 2 colorless. Excuse me. Kozilek makes me sick, I guess. 8 and 2 colorless for a 12/12. When you cast Kozilek, the Great Distortion, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. Has Menace as well. Discard a card with converted mana cost X. Counter target spell with converted cost X. Woo! Big money. Big Daddy Kozilek in the house. Destroying faces. What a good box this is turning out to be. Even if we don't see an expedition out of it, the number of Mythics we're pulling certainly is making it worth its value. Don't know why that's happening. Here we have a Seagate Wreckage. Tap add a colorless in your mana tool pool for 2 and a color so you can draw a card. Activate this ability only if you have no cards in your hand. I mean, it's almost, you know, I mean, it's JMD Tome on a land, almost. Slightly better, but I mean, then, of course, I don't know, it's okay. It's alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we have Stoneforge Masterwork. 1 casting cost artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control that shares a creature type with it. Seems real good in tokens. I'm not going to lie. And I'm a big token player. If you're looking to support tokens in your EDH deck or your cube, that's a good way to do it. I mean, there are plenty of other things to get things +1/+1s without that special ramification, but also probably plays well with changelings. Do love some changelings. Here is the Vile Redeemer. Green and 2 for a 3/3 body, so that's already decent. Has flash, that's already decent. When you cast this, you may pay a colorless. If you do, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature or token onto the battlefield for each non-token creature that died under your control this turn. Those tokens have sacrifice this creature, add colorless to your mana pool. That card could get nuts in a lot of formats. EDH comes to mind, obviously. Commander, whatever you call it. That's a cool guy. Yeah, that is a cool guy. I did test, who's the guy who makes bears based on the number of creatures that died that turn? Whoever that is. I tested him in my cube. Didn't like him. I think I might try that guy in his place. I have a very large cube. It's an 800 card cube currently. And originally my friends did not like it very much because it came up so erratically. But it's just some of the best cards. And there are a lot of draft around me cards too. It's difficult to get like a storm theme or anything like that in there, so it's not supported. But a lot of different themes are, and it's turned out to be a pretty good cube. White and 2 for a sorcery. Search your library for a Planeswalker card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. We now finally have a Planeswalker tutor. We now have a Planeswalker tutor. That is now a thing. Interesting. These boxes, once again, were provided from my local gaming store. I have several local gaming stores of choice, but the current gaming store of choice that I shop at is Gear here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. One of the better places to shop and play at, too. I love that place. Oath of Chandra. Red and 1. When Oath of Chandra enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target creature an opponent controls. If this could also hit players, it would be insane. That's why it doesn't, though. Then it would be Volcanic Hammer with an upside. At the beginning of each end step, if a Planeswalker enters the battlefield under your control, Oath of Chandra deals 2 damage to each opponent. Again, if that could also hit creatures there. It's still one of the better oaths, and I do really like that oath. But next up, T4, 5, 6. Oh, that's an uncommon. Oops. I'm bad at counting. Here is the blue-red Manland. Fairly disappointed with this one. Wandering Fumarole comes into play taps for a blue and red. For 2 and a blue and a red until end of turn. It becomes a 1/4 blue and red elemental creature token with 0. Switch the creature's power and toughness until end of turn. It's still a land. Weird card. Weird card. I mean, I'm sure, obviously, it has a lot of homes. But still weird. Akuma Flameseeker as one of our foils for the box. Somebody's saying in chat that Wandering Fumarole is one of the better Manlands. I suppose so. Just disappointing to me. I expected so much more of the blue-red one. I was hoping for an Ophidian style effect. Draw a card when it deals damage. Breaker of Silence. 2 casting cost 2/1 devoid. When you cast this, you may pay 1 of the colors. If you do, target opponent sacrifices a creature. Flying, but it can't block. So again, it's a 2/1 for 2 flyer. That alone gets my attention. But when you cast it, you can pay 2 more to get an edict effect out of it. That seems like if black aggro or black-red aggro or black something aggro is a thing with colorless mixed in, that would definitely be pretty decent. It's both the Bearer of Silence, not Breaker of Silence, it's the Bearer of Silence. And not only that, but it's a bear, because it's a 2 casting cost 2 something. 2 power guy. That's unbearably cool. Munda's Vanguard. White and 4 for a 3/3 cohort. Tap it and tap an untapped ally you control. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. I never really love effects like that. Well, that's not a token. That's a straight-up rules card. Ugh. What a waste. Good box so far, though. 6, 8, 9, 10. Here we are. Make a stand. Here's Overwhelming Denial. 2 and 2 blue. Surge of a blue-blue. You may cast a spell search cost if you are a teammate. Okay. Overwhelming Denial can't be countered by spells or abilities. Counter target spell. So it's a counter spell that can't be countered. And if you've already played something that turn, you can play it for counter spell mana. Rather than 4, which is stupid. That's why I don't even play blue. I don't even care about that color. As far as I'm concerned, blue is not a color in the game of Magic. So, it's a color that I have to fight against occasionally, but not a color I ever play. 2 casting cost 2/1. This is the Eldrazi Mimic. When another colorless creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may have this. Its power, base power and toughness. Copy that base power and toughness till end of turn. That's an okay card. I wish it also copied abilities, but obviously that could probably be insane if you flopped out some insane Eldrazi with Devour. Was it Devour was the ability, or the one that made him sacrifice permanents? I could see where that would be too much. Too much. Then again, some of those Eldrazi's had haste, the big ones, so... Still kind of scratching. Oh! Shit! Oh, man, I saw a foil land, and I got so excited, and it's still a really nice foil land. It's still a really nice foil land. Nice. Very nice. I was so hyped. I was so hyped, and I had no real reason to be. Remorseless Punishment, which is what it's like to open a foil land in a set with expeditions. 2 black and 3. Targeted opponent loses 5 life unless that player discards 2 cards or sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Repeat this process once. What? Target opponent loses 5 life or that unless that player discards 2 cards or sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Repeat this process once. Wow, that's a complicated card. Repeat this process once. Has that ever been on a Magic card? Repeat this process once? How weird. Repeat this process once. I have a problem with repeating myself in streams a lot. So people get annoying. So now I'm going to repeat that all night. There's the Endbringer. 5 and a colorless for a 5/5. Untap during each other player's untap step. Tap to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. Colorless and tap. Target creature can't attack or block this turn. Colors. Tap to draw a card. What is this card? What the hell? Who designed this card? Who was just like, I don't know, abilities on it, numbers and stuff. What is going on with this card? What a weird card. The Endbringer. How does any of that bring an end? What is that? I don't know why it's called the Endbringer. Why is it not called the card draw? I don't know what the hell it is. The Tapbringer, yeah, somebody said. I guess that's going to end limited games left and right, probably. Another one of the man lands for the set. Black, green. Comes into play tap, taps for black and green. Hissing Quagmire becomes a 2/2 black and green elemental creature with death touch until end of turn. It's still a land. I'm still a little miffed about that one. It's got death touch, but I mean, how often am I going to want to trade my man land for a creature? That's weird. I mean, that's not something I'm going to commonly do. I don't know. Here's a card I've been told we'll see play in Standard, but that seems unusual. Zendikar Resurgent, 5 and 2 green. When you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana to your mana pool of any type that land produced. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Now, I mean, that's 7 mana to get into the play, but once it's in play, you're drawing cards off every creature. That's pretty powerful, I guess. At 7 mana, getting that into play is nuts. And of course, I mean, the Mana Flare effect is good too. Again, it seems like a great commander card. But 7 mana is terrible for Standard. I don't see how that could possibly see play in Standard. Unless Standard is complete. Unless they ban Siege Rhino. I don't know. Oh, well, here we go. This is interesting. Here is our red-white man land as well. Good card. A foil swamp. The red one, sorry, for those of you who have not seen the red-white one, I've seen it in my pre-release, so I just skipped right over it. Needlespire enters the battlefield tapped, taps for a red and white. For 2 and a red and white, Needlespires becomes a 2/1 red and white elemental creature with double strike. Until the end of the turn, it's still a land. So that's awesome. There's a foil swamp. Always welcome. Always welcome. Give me those full art lands every day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Huh. I don't even know this guy. Jori Inn, Ruin Diver. 3 mana, red, blue, and 1 for a 2/3. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card. Merfolk Wizard, legendary creature. Weird. I guess that's probably built for a commander. But you're only going to get to draw one card off them. It's your second spell. Only your second spell. Interesting card to evaluate. Every time I see a Wasteland, once again, I get a little excited inside my heart. Ooh, 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 ooh. What the hell? Wow. Okay. We got Drana's Chosen for a black and 3. 2/2. Cohort. Tap an untapped ally you control. Put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. She's also an ally. But that's the kind of foil that you want to get excited about right there. Kozilek's Return, foil mythic, deals 2 damage to each creature. When you cast an Eldrazi creature with converted mana cost 7 or greater, you may cast Kozilek's Return from your graveyard. If you do, Kozilek's Return deals 5 damage to each creature. Insane. Just completely insane card. What a wonderful foil to pull. That's probably a big card. Someone in chat is saying it's about $62 at Shop TCG. Well, that's big. That's awesome. Awesome. Box paid for itself tenfold probably here. Hooray. Captain's Claws, 2 casting cost artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0. Whenever equipped creature attacks, put a 1/1 white core ally creature token onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking, an equip cost of only 1. I mean, I think this might even go into my cube as a non-sword piece of equipment there. Definitely supports tokens. And they are allies as well, so that's going to trigger allies. Ally cards. Awesome. Here we go. We have the Eldrazi Displacer, another great card from the set. A white and 2 for a 3/3 body with Devoid. 2 and a colorless, exile another target creature, then return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. I love that card. Dodges all kinds of stuff. You know? Doesn't involve board wipes. Doesn't, you know, because it doesn't come back like at the end of the turn. It comes back immediately, but... Here we are. Doot. My uncommon pile is about to spill. That's okay. We're almost done. Here's the Matter Reshaper. For 2 and a colorless, it is a 3/2. When Matter Reshaper dies, reveal the top card of your library. You may put that card onto the battlefield if it's a permanent with converted mana cost 3 or less. Otherwise, put that card into your hand. This is a very solid card. I like that card a lot. It'll hit a land, and that alone is a third of your deck. So, I like this guy. Too bad it has to die. Too bad it's not a battle cry effect or come into play effect. Here we have a foil Stoneforge Acolyte. Is this card any good? 1 white for a 1/2 cohort. Tap an untapped ally you control. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You reveal an equipment card from them. No, it's not that great. That's not that great. What a great box this has been so far. We're down to our last few packs, though. I expect them to continue to be awesome. We have the Deep Fathom Skulker, 6 casting cost 4/4. When a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. 3 and a colorless target creature can't be blocked this turn. I mean, it's a little small body, but I mean, if you play it on a turn, if you have a bunch of dudes in play, you play it then. We're in our last 3 packs here. You have a bunch of tokens in play, or a bunch of fish, I guess. Play them, swing out, draw up. Limited fodder, I think. Probably. There's our first Planeswalker. Probably our only Planeswalker of the box. Chandra Flamecaller, 6 casting cost, 4 loyalty. For +1, put 2, 3, 1 red elemental creature tokens with haste onto the battlefield. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. For 0, you can discard all the cards in your hand and draw that many cards +1. What? That's insane. -X, Chandra Plains, a Flamecaller deals X damage to each creature. Holy moly. How many mythics out of this box? We're going to have to count these mythics. I can't believe this. What an insane box this has turned out to be. Absolutely incredible. Incredible box. Gladeheart Cavalry, 5 and 2 green for a 6/6. When Gladeheart Cavalry enters the battlefield, support 6. Whatever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, you gain 2 life. Support 6 is put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 6 other target creatures. Weird card. I don't know. Here's Lead by Example, or as I like to call this card, Leaf by Example. Yes. Hey, support 2, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. My chat's probably going wild over that. And last pack of the box here. So we'll count up our mythics and see how we did. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 3 uncommons. Here we go. Let's do it together. Oh, and one of the better cards of the set again. Cubable, EDHable, wonderful card. Goblin Dark Dwellers, 5 casting cost for 4 menace. When Dark Dwellers enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that card will be put into your graveyard this turn to exile instead. Great card. No expeditions, but still, what an incredible box. I should remind you here real quick, if you're watching this on YouTube, this box was sponsored by my good friend over there at MTG headquarters, who often has sponsored my Magic unboxings and makes it possible. All you got to do is check out his channel down below. Maybe get a subscription if you like Magic content. His box, I have been told, is also nuts. So I expect that his unboxing for the set will be fantastic. And I hope you do go watch it and tell him the Boogie sent you. Holy moly, what a box. Holy. Completely insane. She's mythic too. I can't believe that. So, Mirror Pool, Linvala, Worldbreaker, Kozilek, Foil Kozilek's Return, Chandra Flamewalker. That's 6. I think I missed a couple mythics. Wow, that's crazy, 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 crazy box. Absolutely fantastic. Foil Man Land. Well, it doesn't get much better than that for me. So, guys, there will be further unboxings on my gameplay channel. If you want to see more, all you got to do is check out the description box below. I'll link to my gameplay channel. Thanks, guys, for watching. I love you very much. I'll speak with you again soon.